I did my PhD at Southern Cal.
Oh, did you?
And then it was at a university in the Midwest, and then did some sportscasting.
Where were you? What university?
Bradley.
At Bradley?
Yeah.
Yeah, so many people from Peoria and Bradley have migrated out here.
And
Tom Kelly.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. It is said that the best preparation for tomorrow is to do today's work superbly well. And the gentleman with me here today does his sportscasting work superbly well. I think the premier sports announcer in America today, Dick Enberg. And Dick, the Super Bowl's coming up, and you have the honor of that assignment again.
And that's exciting, Frank. Actually, 2 years ago in the Orange Bowl, when NBC had the coverage, Kurt Gowdy did the play-by-play, and they had to find a name for me, so they called me the host. All I remember about that is that my position was on top of the press box at the Orange Bowl, and they had a 30-mile-an-hour wind that day, and someone said later that my hairspray won an Emmy Award. I had my notes all said, you know, here's your 100 million people tuning in, and you're going to say hello, everyone, and welcome to the Super Bowl 13. And just as, and it rained, and I was up to my ankles in water, and I released my grip on my notes. And they're somewhere in Biscayne Bay right now. I mean, they just went flying.
Oh, you don't need notes. You know, our area in the Midwest, central Illinois, is a terrific sports area, and we especially appreciate Al McGuire and Billy Packer and Dick Enberg. Tell us about working with those two guys on NCAA basketball.
Well, I'm sure we have enough time, Frank, but I know there's so many great basketball fans in your area, before I tell you about that, I think that we should pay compliment to the Midwesterners, because, you know, our overnight ratings usually are New York and Los Angeles. You get a beat on how many people watch the sports event. Invariably in basketball, we'll get an overnight rating, and then the Midwestern core will come in and it'll jump 3 points.
Yes,
I mean, the
indeed.
people love their basketball, and we love them for it. Al McGuire is, if you ask me in Reader's Digest to write about the most unforgettable character I've ever met, no contest. There is no one anywhere like Al. I could tell you many, many stories, one of which about Al will show a different side of his character. I mean, he's a D's and Do's, New York tough in some ways, and then very sensitive. He'll sit down and cry with the kid who lost his puppy the next moment. Last year we were doing the Ohio State-Indiana game at the end of the year in Bloomington, and Al is so visible. I mean, he walks in the room, everyone knows that's Al McGuire. And so everyone's always grabbing at Al, and I'm kind of his protector. I'll say, Al, come on, got to get going. We've got a meeting, or we're going to be on the air, to drag him away from the press or the fans. And a young reporter, and I could identify with this because we were all there too, was just one more interview. And Al, somewhat reluctantly, I knew he had it up to there, but said, okay, let's go. And he went to another room, and this kid asked him a question. You know how we were. Boy, you weren't satisfied with 10 minutes. You wanted to do an hour show. Finally got through, and he was so excited. In his ebullient way, the young reporter said, what can I do for you, Coach? I mean, you were so great. Can I do anything for you? And he said, tell you what. He said, I've just done you a favor. And I want you to promise me in the next 24 hours that you'll return that favor to someone. That's what I want you to do. And I thought, what a beautiful way to perpetuate a good feeling. Now, that's Al McGuire. Yeah, return the favor. Now, if that kid did the same thing to someone else, we'd all have a better place.
Beautiful. Dick, you mentioned writing a little bit ago when you were talking about Reader's Digest writing. Somebody told me that you have written a book or are writing one. Will you tell us about that?
Well, I wrote it, and it won't be published, at least in its present form. I, about 6 years ago, went through the pangs of a divorce, and at a time when it was more popular, I think, even than now, that especially the woman unhappy in a marriage decided it was over. I wasn't trained that way. No one programmed me to be prepared for the fact that someday the woman that I loved would say, I don't love you anymore, and I don't have any feelings for you. So starting at that basis and taking the 10 count, I tried to chronicle for other men who were going through the same experience all the steps that I encountered, and I was very open and honest about those. And I mean, you were a little bit crazy during that period of time, and then all the way to where you see sunsets again. And after I had written it, and I wrote with another fellow, a friend of mine, it was such a catharsis to get that all out that I thought, no, maybe I better not provide that for consumption at this point. But someday, now that the last chapter is getting longer and longer and life is really beautiful again, maybe it will be published.
Maybe. Dick, I wish we had longer and longer. Thank you. I think not only are you the best educated sports announcer going, but the best too, and we're looking forward to hearing you on the NCAA and Super Bowl.
Thanks a lot, Frank.
Okay. Dick Enberg, this is Frank Bussone in Los Angeles.